Welcome to Play Dead's Inside. This is a little platformer game which was released about 10 years ago, if I'm not wrong, and I decided to play it in 2025 and also use this video as one of the first attempts to make voiceovers for whatever game playthroughs that I'm planning to post in the future. This video duration is around 2 hours. This is not a speed run in any ways. I die a few times and even more off screen, which I have edited out, and I'm going to speak about the game in general, about my experience, about topics in this game, and also about some of the secrets that I was able to find out, but not by myself, but because after finishing it, I did watch a few other creators' videos explaining what actually happens in the game and try to put it all together. And there are countless videos of playthroughs of Inside, and I doubt anyone will ever listen to it, but I'm just going to take it just an experiment. Am I able to talk for 2 hours straight about anything at all? Well, let's see what happens. Posting a video about a game like this is exactly what I was afraid when I just started my YouTube channel. I knew that one day is going to be a situation when I'm going to play a game which has got immense following, which has been popular, like with so many fans, with so many ideas, and I'm just gonna go into it completely blind, knowing nothing about it, and then put out my little opinion out there, and it will be weird and maybe exactly the same what everybody thinks, or maybe not the same. Well, anyway, I just don't want to offend anyone if you are truly fan of this game. But I knew nothing about it. I realized how popular it was only after I actually finished it and tried to understand what the hell is happening. So my general impression of the game is just how stressful it is. Like, just look. Escaping those dogs is always done by such a tiny margin, unless you just jump in all the time, which I don't, because I don't like to spam a jump button. So I found it very stressful. The death animations, I'm not gonna die in this playthrough, not yet. But when I do, you're gonna see how graphic and cruel these death animations are. When I played The Cub, which is another little platformer which I really enjoyed, but which is not nearly as famous as Inside, and in general, in terms of the theme and the plot, is much simpler. But there I would die probably much more often than in Inside, but it was okay. It wasn't stressful at all because the animation was cartoonish. It was somewhat funny, and here it's very graphic. It's very graphic. And this is my third playthrough. I was thinking that I'm just gonna post my second playthrough, and I actually edited down that video. And it was about 2 hours and 40 minutes long, and I thought that 2 hours and 40 minutes is just too much for a voice podcast, and I will not be able to speak that much. It's zero chance. Nada. Like you don't know me, but sometimes I can go like a week without speaking at all, and basically I'm trying to remember how to use my voice in general as I'm speaking right now. But 2 hours. I made my second attempt, and it was 2 hours. I'm not sure if I can make it better. Probably I could, but not by much, because I'm not gonna jump like speedrunners do. So yeah, maybe it's the best as possible. Maybe I could shave it off like another 15 minutes of it, but I can't because it's just too stressful. Okay, here it is. Here is one of the first spheres. And yeah, I'm a achievement fan, and I always try to get all of the achievements in the game. And this playthrough also contains finding all of those spheres and disabling them, and then in the end I'm also gonna go for the secret ending. Thanks to the YouTube creators which put other videos so I could actually see how it's done. I would have never figured it out myself. I'm not that much patient with puzzles, and especially with the sound puzzles, which I'm gonna mention later. Okay, the first death isn't coming. Wow, this one is not very graphic. So, but you're gonna see some quite graphic ones. And actually, this is the first time I die here in these 3 playthroughs, because I would always dive down by some sort of instinct. I didn't even know that you could die here if you don't dive down. And what you can see is there isn't much color in the game, which is a pity, because I really like color, and maybe I'm gonna do a blasphemy, and maybe I'm gonna just saturate and brighten up this video track just a little bit, just a little bit, which everybody probably gonna hate me for, but maybe not. Maybe I will not, I don't know. So yeah, there isn't much color in there, and it's maybe a little bit misleading because the branding has this very, very bright red shirt for the boy, and I was hoping that there would be at least this little piece of color in form of his shirt, but it's not. Everything is newly desaturated, and I know that developers have another game which is a little bit connected to this one. It's called Limbo, and it's also been great, and many people loved it, and I was looking at it in the Steam store, and I decided I don't want it. I got one game already. Okay, so you can see before the disabling energy spheres, nothing happens. There is no sound, no anything. And here is one of those little secrets, that if you stay here in this room for long enough, you're gonna see one of the pictures develop, and this picture points to one of the locations in the game, which I'm also gonna have a note about when we reach there. So yeah, as for the moment, it's gonna be boring, and we're just gonna stare. And this is one of the rare moments where you actually do have a red color, and it's very fitting that the only color which is allowed in this game is red, and also it's used in the photo rooms for developing pictures, because the red color actually doesn't expose the prints. Okay, you can see the picture is already appearing. Yeah. Well, I think the general vibe that I'm going for with this video is similar to Midnight Gospel. If you ever seen this cartoon, just shout out to how great it was and how unique it was. And if you haven't, just go and see it, but be prepared, because it's basically very psychedelic, something happening on the screen, along with the podcast-like conversation about the life and the meaning of life and spiritual practices and experiences. And there's no way, like zero, no way connected to the actual animation. So maybe my YouTube channel is going to be an homage to Midnight Gospel, and I'm going to talk about whatever when the wildlife, some sort of life happens on the screen in the game. Yeah, so here, this is the first moment when you see these little creatures gathering around the character, the main character. I think chicks, they have these little chicks, they do have this habit to gather around people sometimes like that, especially if they want to be fed or something like this. So at this moment it still didn't look very unusual. But later, these creatures gathering around the main character is going to become an important moment in the game. And this is one of the first puzzles. It didn't take me long to figure it out. It's not that complicated. Yeah, I have zero patience for puzzles. Like, absolutely no patience. If it's getting even a little bit difficult, then I'm just gonna go and see a guide. And usually I judge how good the game is by how quickly I go into the guide. And if I'm able to finish the whole game without looking into the guide a single time, then it's an amazing game. But that happens very rarely because, as I've said, I have zero patience. And it's very rare that I would be so much absorbed into the game that I would actually enjoy doing the puzzles. Or maybe if the puzzles, they have to be easy enough and intuitive enough so that I can figure them out. Well, one of the things I picked up from those guides is the yellow cables. One of them is going to become visible at the moment, and okay, this is yet one more color in the game, and it indicates the location of an energy sphere. Usually, if you see this yellow cable somewhere, then it's a little visual cue that you're going to find the secret sphere now, and yeah, I'm going for one of those spheres at the moment. And that reminds me about another game which I once got. It's called The White Knight, and visually it looks amazing, and it's got a bit of that noir detective mood about it, but I couldn't play it at all because it was purely black and white, and it was really hard to understand where to go, to figure out where your character is and what to do, and I was just so stressed that I gave up on it. I never even finished it. And I didn't play it long enough for Steam to actually ask me to leave a review, so I didn't even leave a review for this game. And probably I wouldn't leave a negative review because it's a good game. It's obviously a good game, but just me personally, I cannot figure out things if they are not obvious enough on the screen. I need color cues. I need everything to be very clear, and I don't like to be puzzled by too much. I just really don't like it. So that also explains why I didn't get Limbo and why I'm not gonna play it, probably in the foreseeable future, unless I really run out of the platformers to play, because it's black and white. Yeah, I don't want that. I want a very clear, visually clear game. And here we are getting to the moment, which is not exactly an Easter egg, but maybe some indication that the Limbo game and the Inside game are inside the same universe. You see those little wiggly things inside the animals. These are the parasites which are present in the Limbo game. And also thanks to YouTube videos that I watched that I know about this, because obviously I didn't know it myself. And you can see those parasites throughout many animals in here. Here I'm going to remove the parasite in just a tiny bit, and the pig is going to become completely docile. Yeah, so obviously it was being controlled by the thing, this white piece of flesh wiggling around, and you're gonna see more pieces of flesh wiggling around in the future games. So here we are getting to one of the first moments about the idea of mind control, which is crucial to this game. You can see that this kind of helmet allows the character to control those other zombie-like creatures, humans, which are neither dead nor alive. It's not clear if they're dead or if they're alive, but once they're not controlled, they are completely still in the same way as this pig was still when the parasite was removed. But the difference is that humans are controlled by the helmet and the pig was controlled by the parasite. Are these connected? No? There is no clear indication for it in the game. Basically, there is no clear indication for anything in this game, and maybe it's one of the reasons why it became that massively popular, that people had all of the free space to come up with their own ideas and interpretation, and the idea of mind control and being controlled and told what to do is a very divisive subject. And it leaves almost no one indifferent to it, and there's a lot of mind control in this game, and different layers of mind control, which we are going to see in a bit. And one of the things that I wanted to talk about is that, yeah, it's an old game. It's been released around 2015, I think, and a lot has changed in the world. And the idea of being controlled has become even more of a divisive subject than it was before, because there have been so many conspiracies, and these conspiracies have broken apart so many relationships, and even families. Like I lost one of my very close friends to conspiracy. Her brain was just completely eaten by those ideas, similar to those parasites that you can see in these dark dystopian games, and she stopped thinking for herself, believing in all these conspiracies. It's just weirdest conspiracies. And at first I thought I could just ignore it, and I told her, okay, we just not going to talk about this, just let's talk about the other things, but don't ever bring up those conspiracies to me. Let's not talk about this. But then after a while it just kept eating off her brain even more and more, and I had to break our connection. And I hate conspiracies utterly, completely. I think this whole idea that nobody knows what is really happening, but I'm gonna tell you, is a very wrong idea. Okay, another yellow cable and another energy sphere. So this was actually the only energy sphere that I found by myself on my very first playthrough, because it's, you know, easy to figure out, just a little vent that you have to tear out, and then you found it. So coming back to the conspiracies and the mind control, the whole idea that nobody knows what's really going on, but somebody gonna tell you what's happening, like some sort of secret idea what's happening, I think is deeply flawed in general, just by itself. It makes people become proud for absolutely no reason. They start thinking that they are better than the rest because they know something that nobody else knows. But it's how can you be sure that this is true? You just believe in somebody who's telling you this idea in the same way as you condemn people believe in, I don't know, governments. It's exactly the same thing. Conspiracy theorists, they speak about the lies that the government tells you, but they don't speak about the lie that the conspiracy theories tell you. And it's the same kind of delusional lie. You see, I'm struggling with this puzzle here a little bit. When on my very first playthrough, I think I've done it kind of automatically from the very first try, and here I actually had to figure out that you have to have both guys stand on those both buttons at the same time, and then the door is gonna open. Yeah, so people, conspiracy theorists, they are speaking about lies that we are told by the government, but have they ever considered they are telling the same delusional lies to the people? These conspiracy theories are nothing more than a delusional lie. And one of the favorite things that I like to tell people why I hate conspiracy theories, that whoever believes in some sort of orchestrated action that simultaneously happens all over the world, they just never try to launch a sufficiently complicated product. And I believe in the human ability to fuck up everything. You know, it's impossible to orchestrate everything that perfectly as the conspiracy theorists make it out to be. It's just not gonna happen. Everything is gonna just fall apart. Okay, so that's another energy sphere. And this is an important moment in the game because you're gonna hear the sound. I'm gonna stop speaking for a bit. So you can see the steps, but you also can see some sort of music playing. And somebody with an excellent audio recognition skills figured out that the sound, this melody, is the same kind of sounds that the lever in the secret area makes. And the combination to unlock that secret door is actually the sound played, the melody played in this moment of the game. I would have never figured it out. I struggle with everything sound related so much. I'm completely stupid when it comes to sounds, and it's also another reason why I decided to start working with sound and audio just a little bit, doing this podcast kind of thing. Yeah, because I want to start understanding sounds just a little bit more, because I'm completely stupid when it comes to sounds. And in my library, I have a game which seems very amazing. Like, I can't wait to play it, but I'm also very scared to play it because I know that it's got sound puzzles. I'm not sure I will be able to figure out, not even with a guide. If you actually have to listen to things, it's going to be immensely hard for me. It's going to be borderline impossible for me to figure out. But maybe I will learn something new. Maybe my ears will actually develop and my brain will actually develop a little bit. It starts understanding sounds just a little bit more, because I'm a very visual person. Okay, let's get back to conspiracy theories. They are not entirely wrong. This idea in general that there is some other truth, not the one we are told, is a very good idea. And as a Buddhist, I can relate to this idea a lot, because as a Buddhist, we are supposed to find out the absolute truth beyond all phenomena. And conspiracy theories is just a perverted way of finding this absolute truth, but the absolute truth, it does not lie in the concept, and you just replace one concept with another, just something that you are told by authorities or whoever is considered authorities. You replace it with unknown guys, like somebody on YouTube, and yeah, somebody like me on YouTube who has got nothing to do and has got very strong opinions and just want to ramble about. This is beginning of another very powerful sequence in this game, which shows why it became so popular. Because what you can see here is you are pretending to be mind controlled. You're doing exactly what everybody else is doing, but you're doing it not because you're controlled, but because you're mimicking. So there is another completely different force controlling you that makes you do something which looks exactly the same as everybody else, and you have to pretend well enough to pass off as a mindless drone. How beautiful is that? And yeah, in this playthrough, I think I'm able to do this from the first try. Okay, now jump. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, jump. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, no jump now. Yeah, so it's beautiful. It's a beautiful concept of pretending to be a mindless drone. It's, yeah. And also, yeah, you can see a bit of red color, the actual red color. Do it long enough and everybody's gonna believe you that you're one of them. Yeah, so here we're gonna run into yet another dog. And in real life, I'm scared of dogs. Not so much, but sufficiently scared of dogs, and they make me like really, really nervous. And I think dogs and the sounds that dogs make in this game are very realistic. Oh, okay, I didn't make it. Yeah. So the sounds that dogs make in this game, they're very realistic, and they make me stressed again because it activates my own fear of the dogs. And even though I know that these particular dogs cannot really harm me, I'm yet immersed well enough into the game to actually be nervous, and my heart rate is peaking by a lot, really by a lot in all the dog sequences. And even now, as I'm listening to it while recording, I still feel a little bit nervous. Yeah, I think I'm gonna die here as well, like once again. This is where this playthrough is actually worse than my second playthrough, because there I made it without those deaths. Oh god, you can see like how graphic it is. I know, yeah, those sounds. It's just like, and imagine you still don't understand what to do, and you're doing it like again and again and again. You're getting eaten by those dogs again and again. This is very, very stressful. Okay, here we are getting close to one of the very important moments in the game, which is one of the reasons why this game became so immensely popular. So, the mind control, the idea of mind control. But what if whoever is controlling you is also being controlled by somebody else? And this is exactly what a conspiracy theory is. It's the idea that, okay, everything is not that it seems, and there is something else, some another layer of truth, another reason why everything is happening. So there's this reason that you are told, and there is a true reason. And here you're gonna see something in a moment. Okay, so your zombie, somebody you're controlling, just got connected to his own little helmet, and now is controlling another zombie. So that's exactly this sort of feedback loop of whoever controls whom, that makes conspiracy theories so compelling to many people. They think that if you find somebody else who is controlling everything beyond all the layers, then you're gonna find the truth. And usually you don't. In human life, in human world, usually you don't. You only have some sort of ideas and nothing more than ideas. And yeah, this game gives you a lot of space to express those ideas. and it touches upon these very sensitive subjects of control and of pops the question of who really for real is in charge. And in games, you would usually think that the player is the one in charge. But is it? Really, is it? And we're gonna get to it a little bit later. I'm spoiling the game for you just a little bit. But yeah, the idea of who's controlling everything is a big question in this game. In games like this, you think you are the one in control. You are actually controlling the character, but the truth is you are not. The one who is controlling you is the game developer, because everything is scripted, everything is planned in advance. There is only one correct path. There are no other options, and even if there are multiple options and multiple endings, all of them have been scripted. There is no actual freedom. Yeah, you are in control, but you are in control only to do what you have to do. And this is another of the ideas of this game, that, okay, you think you have your freedom, but your actual freedom is severely limited by exactly what you have to do, by these particular puzzles that you have to solve. You cannot go left, you cannot go right, you can only follow one particular path. But because you empathize with the character and because the story is written to be relatable, you believe this to be your story and you believe this to be your decision, and you hope for the outcome, and then that scripted outcome is reached, and you believe it was the result of your work because you were pressing those buttons and going around those levels, but it's not. Usually we don't think about this, we just enjoy the process, enjoy the picture, but inside is the game that makes you think about these things just because of how it's been designed. And if you think about something, that you notice something very deep beyond this game and it touches you on a very special level, not like some other average platformer, this is also something that must have been scripted by the game developers. They wanted to make this particular kind of story, so it would touch upon these exact ideas, not just like emotional release or homecoming story or what this seems to be. You think that you're trying to escape. You think that you're trying to find some freedom in this game, that this boy is running out from some sort of maybe experimental facility. That's what I thought. Thought my task was, to escape. But it's not called escape. It's called inside. And yeah, the whole situation is a little bit different. Okay, so remember that picture that was developing in the photo lab in the beginning of the game? This is it. This is this exact crate. Yeah. I'm gonna put some timestamps in this video so that you could, if you want to, you could click back and take a look and see that the picture there in that photo lab is of this particular moment in the game, of this particular crate. Well, maybe some other one. Okay, it's possible that it's a picture of some other crate because all those crates look very different, but yeah, it looks very much like the picture. And yeah, there are no words, not anything in this game that would make you think that you're doing this or that. It's only your own imagination. Whatever you think this game is, it's only your own imagination. Yeah, you are guided by the authors, but because they don't use any words, you are guided very, very gently. And you think that you figure out all these things by yourself, that this is the result of your own mind, but it's not, because you are being fed up these particular visual cues and this particular kind of story that makes you think things like this. And is there really any freedom? Is it possible to discover something that nobody ever discovered? I'm running this game through the prism of my own perception, of my own illusions and flawed opinions about the world. And are they different to what other people think? Are they similar? I will not find out unless I put myself out there and say these things for the people to listen to, if anybody is ever going to listen to. And maybe we could talk. Maybe you will find something new about this game from my point of view, or maybe everything has already been said in those 10 years that have happened. Yeah, another dog. And my heart rate immediately goes up by a bit. But I'm not gonna die here, as far as I remember. I think this one I figured it out very easily. Yeah. Yeah. That is fine. Okay. Yeah. Oh my god, this one is even worse. Yeah, those sounds, they really, really make me, really, really trigger my phobia. Yeah, I think this puzzle, I figured it out quite easily. Maybe from the first try or so. You just have to do this one by one. And yeah, what's the freedom in that? There's no freedom, not much freedom. You can't just, like, I don't know, press one particular combination of buttons to make it at one try. You don't have choices. You actually have to do it one by one. I don't know, I didn't watch speedruns up to this particular moment. Maybe it's possible to push on 2 of the boards in one go. I don't know, maybe. But yeah, like, unless you do this in one particular way, that you die. There is no going forward. There is no choice. Is there freedom? The game doesn't tell you that you have to do this, but you suppose that you have to because you want to reach the end. Oops. Yeah, I forgot there is a ladder in there. Yeah, you make one wrong decision and you can't go further, and you have to keep trying unless you find this particular way that you have to do the things. And there is no freedom in that, but it's still enjoyable. Finding all those things is still enjoyable. And I know there are other kinds of games, more open world games and games with multiple endings, but I think maybe online multiplayer games. These are the games that have the most freedom for the player, that you can really create some sort of future that you want to create. But there is not so much variety in that future. You just fight. You either win or lose. And there is this element of teamwork and communication and, I don't know, just crafting, gathering some resources. But yeah, it's not like you live some sort of life in these virtual worlds. And I watched quite a few videos about those ambitious projects trying to make some sort of life simulators, which would give some immense amount of freedom in the terms of making decisions, but most of them have failed. And some of the life simulators that I watched, they are mainly just comedic. Yeah, like, can you make a game which would give you complete freedom? I think at this moment, we are getting close to it. And why? Because of AI. And AI, well, at the moment, people are trying to use it to make pre-scripted games, come up with some sort of scenario and have AI program it, or maybe do some essays or something like that. But if in any moment of our future AI becomes that much powerful that your game action would be actually your prompt, and then this AI would actually create some sort of future in the world of the game based on your decisions, then that would be freedom. That would be closer to real freedom in the game. But so far, we're just following scripts. Yeah. I hope I'm not sounding too depressive, but this is a depressing game, so this is maybe to be expected. I can see we are 40 minutes into this playthrough. That means I'm nearly half done with the game. And I'm beginning to run out of the things to say, but luckily this is one of the moments where it's going to be a little Easter egg or a little secret. This, why I'm spending so much time near this locker, is because I know there must be something, some secret object inside of this locker, but you cannot get it by yourself. So all I'm doing here at the moment is useless. So I'm gonna give up. I'm gonna give up and continue with the game objectives. Yeah. I was trying to spam action button to try to open one of those boxes, but this is not something that the player is supposed to do. So there was no reaction. Okay, so I always die here from the first attempt because my first instinct is to jump, and this is the wrong thing to do. You cannot jump here. What you have to do here is you have to just let yourself drop down. If you jump, then your trajectory follows the trajectory of these boxes, but if you just drop down, then they fly above you and you are unharmed. Yeah, so this is fine. I always forget it. Okay. Yeah. And the stories are made in the way that you believe in them, believe how realistic they are, and you imagine yourself as a part of the story. And usually you don't think about being controlled because you're just enjoying yourself. And I was absolutely enjoying myself. Here, as I'm playing, in this moment, I still didn't look into the guide. This is going to happen a little bit later. I'm going to look into the guide a little bit later, one moment when I become sufficiently frustrated. But so far, I made it nearly to the half of the game, or exactly to the half of the game without looking at the guide. And yeah, for me, that's impressive. So even though I found it very stressful, it's still a really good game. Okay, now look carefully in the screen. I noticed it only in the third playthrough, not in the first two. You're gonna see something. Yeah, did you see that? Well, pause or rewind back if necessary, but here, for a single moment, there was this underwater creature, which we're gonna see in just a little bit. The creature that's gonna haunt you so bad. The exact creature that made me so frustrated with the game that I looked into the guide on how to do this. Okay, so I'm coming back to the locker, trying to unlock it in the other way. so I could not interact with it, but I've got this heavy thing which breaks things. And yeah, and you can see something really small just fell out of that locker. And if you've played this game before, then you know exactly what it is. But this is, you see in the center, this little round object on the stand. And this object is another indicator that whatever's happening is something that has been prescripted, and not just prescripted in the way that the game developers prescripted this, but you as a character, you don't have agency, you don't have freedom. You are playing as a character, but the will, the intent behind this character is not the character's own will and intent. And that one is still left unknown to you, the player. I'm coming back here because I want to check if there is a secret sphere here. There must be one very close. Look for the yellow cable. Can you see the yellow cable? Yeah, it's little bit, maybe a little bit in the background, yeah. But not very obvious. Okay, yeah, you have to push this box. Yeah, okay. Yeah, this achievement is called Friends in Deep Places, I think. And it's yet another situation of where you control somebody, that somebody controls somebody else, but in the reality, you are the one who is ultimately in the control. But who's the one controlling you? Yeah. Here, when I was playing the sequence, this time I was thinking, is it possible to drown? You know, is it possible to fail this sequence so miserably if you lose the guy and he falls and drowns to the bottom? Is it still possible to recover him? You know, and he, yeah. Whoopsie, yeah, I'm gonna lose him. But yeah, he kind of floats up there. So I've got another try. Okay. So somebody with no agency is now capable of controlling other subjects with their own agency. And now the agency has been connected. And another sphere is gone. Yeah. And we are approaching the part of the game which was the most frustrating for me, which I hated the most. But in the end, I probably became the most efficient in solving those kinds of puzzles, just because I was struggling with them so much. And I think from now on I will not die for a while in this game. I think till the pulse sequence. Maybe just because I've been fighting with those underwater creatures so much that I really learned how to do this and became really precise in the ways how to avoid them. Yeah. So here you can see that I moved the sphere to the wall, because if you switch it off and the sphere remains in this part, then it will not be able to cross this little bridge that you're gonna see in a moment. Yeah, it's not very hard to solve and not very hard to figure out, but yeah, you have to move the sphere while the area is still full of water. Yeah. Okay, so this is it. This is it. This is the moment where I became so frustrated that I actually looked into the guide and I had to see in the video walkthrough how to actually figure it out. I think I was able to figure out by myself that you have to shine light on the creature so it stays away. But what I was unable to figure by myself, that you need to close this door. Yeah. I was going up directly, trying to break into the surface area. But this one has been designed so that it requires two hits. And after each hit, your light is off, and this is the moment where this underwater creature gets you in another, well, maybe not very bloody, but still quite graphical sequence. And yeah, I stayed on it for a while, and I kind of hate those creatures. They make me very stressed also. Not as much as the dogs, because they don't make that much sound, but yeah, there's something scary about them. Yeah, so this is another way to a secret sphere. Can you see yellow cables? Well, actually, no. I can't see yellow cables. I don't know. Did you notice any on the way here? Yeah, maybe it was on the other side. Maybe. Yeah, maybe in the water you could actually swim up there and see that cable. Okay, one more is disabled. So maybe if I were to rank all these creatures in the game, that these underwater creatures are probably the worst, just the worst. And the dogs. And everything else is fine. Robots, yeah, I mean, kind of annoying, and yeah, I'm gonna die to one of them a little bit later in the game. But yeah, and generally they are fine. But the underwater creatures and dogs, that's the worst. That's absolutely the worst. If you become interested in this game, definitely check out videos where people use Unity cheats to move the camera around and explore areas that you don't usually see. There's really a lot of interesting stuff in there, and a lot of very interesting secrets which show that this game is very, very detailed. And it's really thought out, and even those things that you can't see, you can't see it as a player. You can't know they are there, but they still have been put there to make the world more complete and to tell the story. Something which is not told by words is told by these 3D assets, which nobody even gonna see unless you actually cheat and explore the game. And this is maybe the moment when you install this Unity hacking software and start moving the cameras not where it's supposed to be. Maybe this is where you exercise real freedom over the game, because when you just, run around and solve the puzzles and do as intended, being a good little boy in a red shirt, there is no freedom in that. But when you actually move the camera around and see the world and see the things that you're not supposed to see as you play, this is element of freedom. So yeah, definitely check out those videos. If I don't forget, I'm gonna try to find them once again and link them in the description of the video. And so I've seen some moments later in the game where I actually wanted to do this myself and explore some of those things. Usually I'm too lazy to do this kind of stuff, but this game made me want to do that. So yeah, it's really unique. It really gets you, maybe not in the sense as some other ones, but it still crawls under your skin and it gets inside of you. Like everybody who's been speaking about this game has made this reference or joke about something inside. So inside gets inside of you. Definitely, it does. It definitely does. Meanwhile, we are approaching another interesting moment in the game, which makes you question all those issues about control. And one thing that I've been thinking about elements of control is that we know about such thing as charisma. And sometimes people, they charm you in such a way that they make you believe the things they say, and whatever they tell you to do, you do willfully because you are charmed by these people. And many RPG games, they have charisma or charm as one of the stats, and if it's sufficiently high, then you can control others. Yeah, so just to realize what has happened. You jumped into the mind controlling helmet, which was connected to the system by a cord, and the cord broke down, but yet you're still wearing the helmet. The helmet is still active and is still able to exercise control. And why did I start speaking about charisma? Because these moments, they made me think about it. Like, you're becoming some sort of a leader with an aura of charm or whatever, and everybody who is around you and gets inside of a certain radius, they fall under this charm and they get under your mind control. Except here, there is no actual charm, there is no actual charisma, there is this technology device and some sort of mindless drones, which are truly mindless, which have absolutely zero agency of their own. And once they get into the vicinity of you while wearing this helmet, then they just follow you around. And think, does it remind you of charisma? Of how some people are able to charm others and tell them to do things and make them listen to you, listen to what they say. And another interesting thing, okay, so yeah, this is where another energy sphere is, and you can see the yellow cable, but you cannot open this, not yet, because you're gonna go and grab some more drones, some more workers, and then you're gonna open it. So this is another little puzzle to solve to get those. Yeah, so what I was going to say, so you can see the boy is wearing the helmet, but the helmet is in no way connected to any cord. It's not, how is it working? How is it working if it's not powered by anything? When it was connected to a cable, you could think that maybe there was somebody else controlling and some sort of signal coming from the cable. But no, actually it wasn't, because when you were inside of those helmets connected by cables, you still were able to express a sort of an agency and tell those drones what to do, even though connected to a cable. So a cable is some sort of a power source and nothing more than that. Yeah, okay, so you can see now it's open. And yeah, I couldn't figure out this thing by myself. I had to consult a guide by how to solve it, because I was thinking that you need to do something with the water and lure the dogs into the water. And I couldn't figure out that you have to actually grab this torch and use the torch to scare the dogs away. Well, but once I saw that in the guide, then yeah, I was able to get it immediately. But in this walkthrough, I'm actually a little bit shy and not very confident. And you see the dogs are sort of gaining up on me and getting closer and closer. And yeah, I'm not gonna make it this time. Oh my god, so graphic. Yeah, I was very close. Very close. Yeah, so I'm gonna try it now with more confidence, and then I'm gonna get it. It's interesting how they all run away once the sphere is disabled. So obviously these dogs are being controlled by something as well. And once the sphere is disabled, then there is no more control over them. So they run somewhere, probably to where another sphere is, or maybe they become like normal animals and they just don't care anymore. So what makes me think that this device, how is it able to stay powered without the cable? Why was it even connected to cables if it can function normally without a cable? So there are two possible answers to that. Either it's got some sort of battery backup power, but then probably there would be some timer designed in the game, and if you were unable to fulfill all the tasks within a certain allocated time period, then it would just go off. But it's not the case. And the other thing is that the helmet is powered by the body itself, by the brain power or body power of whoever is wearing it. And therefore the cables, the original cables that were connected to these helmets in the prior parts of the games, they are not important at all. And then there is another possible explanation, that this boy maybe is not like an ordinary person, that there is some certain capability inside of the body of this particular character which allows him to control the helmet while wearing and spreading this Wi-Fi of mind control over the distance without any cables. So the objective here is to gather enough people to open the doors. I was too absorbed talking about something else, and I just never mentioned it. When we first got to the area, there was a screen with number 19, and that's the amount of people who have to stand inside the square for the doors to open. Yeah, one interesting question is, are these workers alive or dead? Obviously, you can see that the way some of them move is they appear to be damaged. Their body just doesn't function properly, but still they are able to move. What do you think? Do you think they are dead? Or do you think they are alive? Just in some sort of trance state? Yeah, I think we now got everyone. And it's time to proceed to the next chapter. Can you hear that little pulse? Once you completed the game once, you start to notice it in this area. This is something that is gonna be shown in a moment, but you can hear it throughout these parts of the games already. Yeah, you can see the shockwave also, how the sign is moving. So the first thing that this pulse does, it explodes the helmet. So this might be some sort of anti-technology, anti-mind control pulse, something like that. What is the purpose of this pulse otherwise? Yeah, I missed the right moment when you could jump and be protected by this thing. I think the game glitched out a little bit in here because you could see like I was nearly not protected by this thing and still was able to survive. But don't worry, I'm still gonna die. Now the timing is wrong. Yeah. Yeah, that's the right way to do this. I'm not saying anything because I'm sort of enjoying the sound. Another interesting area in here with those dummies, obviously some sort of test area. I never can get this part from the first try. I edited out a few of those, believe me. The key to this puzzle is that you have to, first of all, you have to make sure that you are facing forward, because you could also be dragging the door while facing backwards, and it's slower. Then you have to stop at as far out as possible and start running immediately as the pulse is over. And here you have to delay just a tiny bit. The soundtrack in this part of the game is amazing. I'm really enjoying it. Okay, now it's time to open the door as quick as possible and then swim to the surface. So we are more than halfway through the game at the moment, and we are getting close to even more of underwater creatures, of the ones which are the most frustrating for me. You can actually be crushed by this door if you take too long and don't have enough time to pass through. I got crushed by doors several times, but underwater mainly, not by this one. I didn't go to the right in here. I just forgot about it, but if you go to the right in this area and see the glass, that you can see the underwater creature suspended in the water and connected to some cables in there. And spoiler alert, this exact creature is gonna hunt you. Yeah, this is when I'm realizing that I have to jump there, like right now, gathering my strength. Oh no, I don't want to do this. Ah, okay. Ooh. Yeah. You see, it's connected to cables, but then it just breaks free. and follows you. Okay. I never tried that. I wonder if it's able to grab you when you're still holding onto the rope. And honestly, to be honest, I don't want to try that. I've died to those things so many times. And just enough. I've had enough. No, thank you, please. I don't want to do this ever again. Here you have to climb and then jump so that you have enough push from gravity to gain up enough distance to be able to escape. If you jump from the rope or from the first platform, you will not be able to make it. I don't know, can you feel how stressful it is from just the playthrough? There are no sounds like with the dogs to trigger anything. Well, some sounds, but they're not so scary. And here, you have to disturb the water just a little bit to attract the creature to you. If you don't do this, or you don't do it well enough, don't stay in the water long enough, then it will not swim far enough and you won't be able to make it right now. And now you have to jump and swim through the switch while pressing it and pass through this. And this is where I got crushed a couple of times. Here's a little bit moment of peace. I know it's possible to jump directly from the rope and still reach the end, but I'm not doing it very often because usually I'm trying to be careful and do a few swings so that I could 100% make the jump. Okay, getting ready for another underwater encounter. So here is a two-parter. So once you jump once, and then you have to, I think, open the gate. And the creature has to stay on the left side. Yeah, the gate is open now. And if you're not going for the energy sphere, then you could probably just jump into the water here and then jump back. But even if the sphere has already been disabled, I prefer to make this longer route because somehow it just feels easier to make the longer swim and pass through this area, even though if the sphere is disabled anyways. Then just going down and going up and risking close encounter with the creature. So yeah, I'm just always making this long route in here, regardless of the sphere. Yeah, you can see I'm going for an extra swing, just to be sure. The creature is really far away at the moment, so I think I'm gonna have a lot of time. And I also like to do like a jump into the water to get some extra gravity push to get into the water deeper. Okay, so a moment of safety. Yeah, by this moment I was really fed up by these creatures. I just couldn't take it anymore. Was so fed up by getting drowned over and over again and by this suspense. imagine this happening like 20 times. And then this happened to me in my first playthrough. I was like, what? What did I do wrong? And I went to look into the guide immediately. And apparently this is what's supposed to happen. This is a part of the game. And this is when I was really surprised. Really, really, really surprised by this being a part of the game. This is where the concepts that I had about this game, they started falling apart. Not every game is able to surprise me and do a twist that I did not expect. Yeah, this was one of them. I know there are many theories about what actually happens at this moment in the game, and my theory is that the character, the actual body of the character possibly dies at this moment. If it was alive, then it dies. Or maybe it wasn't alive to begin with, which is also might be possible, but again, sorry, spoilers. Yeah, so let's say the character dies at this moment, and what actually happens is that you're connected to something else, and something else is implanted in you. I don't know, like you're charged by something. You obviously noticed that cable that was attached to your body, and you don't drown anymore. Starting from this moment, you can stay in the water as much as you want, and obviously because you don't breathe anymore, and still your body is powered by something else, by some sort of, let's say, electric impulse, which also feeds into the theory that the character doesn't have his own agency, that he's being controlled by something, and the player is given this chance to control the character, but there is no actual control executed. You're not even controlling the character. Who are you playing for? And this is just beautiful. I love this scene. This is absolutely beautiful. There were moments like this in the cub also. I think level 7, where you jump around on abandoned skyscrapers overgrown with greenery, and in some other levels too. It was incredibly beautiful. I loved that. The idea of abandoned skyscrapers, abandoned office spaces, and yeah, this is really beautiful in here. We're gonna go for yet another energy sphere at the moment. You can also see that the fish are following you. And previously you could notice some fish, small fish, eating off the body, one of the bodies suspended in air, or maybe not eating one of those bodies, but at least swimming around. Possibly, I think maybe they are just not eating them. Okay, so my theory is that the fish are not trying to eat you. They are just being drawn into your mind control aura somehow, and made to follow you the same way as those human zombie workers. So they just follow you because of that. And you see, the fish, they don't react to the sphere being turned off. They don't run away, or they do not stop following you. Nothing changes for them when the sphere is disabled. I think they are not eating you, because, well, if the intent was that they are trying to eat you, then probably you would see some half-eaten carcasses in the water, but there are none. there are some carcasses suspended in the water, but they don't look decomposed or they don't look like they've been eaten. So maybe, yeah, fish just follow you because of the mind control. That's my theory. The game I played just before Inside also had this element, these huge turbines that you have to pass through safely. It's such a typical way to add to those games. But this other game is complete opposite of Inside. It's the Planet of Lana, and I really enjoyed it. But I don't know, if you're watching this video, I'm not sure I could recommend it to you, because maybe you like very different things. But I'm the person who enjoys both of them. In general, I like platformers where you don't have to fight with anyone. And there are not so many games like this. So in terms of genre, horror or something inspirational or cute, most likely I'm gonna play it. Well, okay, if it's too cute and too much for children, then maybe I will not. But horror or just general sci-fi or anything, yeah. If it's a platformer where you don't have to fight anyone, not Metroidvania, not roguelike, no anything like that, then I will play it, definitely. This is one of the moments where I actually die to those robots. Even though here you don't see the robot, but when you die to the robots, it's exactly the same animation. So the key is actually run to the wheel at the other moment. There is another energy sphere in here, and I'm gonna check it out. Even though I haven't done what is necessary to access it, I'm curious. I'm gonna take a look at the area, because I've never been there without grabbing the energy sphere, so I just want to take a look at it. Yeah, you can see the water level is insufficient. Oh, actually, what I think, I think this device that we are controlling on the top and this platform on the bottom, they are connected. So we need to lower it just a little bit more. That means put the platform high up in the sky, or maybe the water level is controlled. You can't be really sure what is what. Okay, so you have to actually run after this one, which is sort of counterintuitive for me, I think. But yeah, this one works. You have to run, follow this one. Okay. Now it's the topmost position. And we will go and check out the energy sphere once again. The fact that I'm not dying anymore underwater definitely makes the game less stressful. I can say that this later part of the game, I found it easier than the beginning. Puzzles might be slightly more complicated to solve, but in terms of just trial, die, that kind of loop that you are not dying that much anymore. There are no more dogs, there are no more underwater creatures, you can swim as much as you'd like. Well, maybe if you're actually dead already, then it's logical that there is less risk to die in this part of the game. But yeah, you could still be caught by robots. And let's say disabled by them, because the term dying might not be applicable anymore. I don't know if you could do it in a few attempts, or you could just climb and jump right now. I'm not risking it. I'm not a speedrunner. I'm taking this slow, very slow and carefully. So here you have to jump and try to aim inside the water. And it's possible to miss this opening and die. That happened a few times for me. But yeah, no more. This time, no more. But what really happens, like why, I mean, let's say you're dead and you have been connected to some sort of a system and that system is now controlling your body, but still, why can you fail? In the another later part of the game, when you are transformed, I will not spoil it for the moment, but when you are transformed, you can't die at all. There is just no chance for you to die anymore. But here you still could fail. But what happens? Is your body damaged to the extent that you can't move? Is it why you fail? Maybe. Well, yeah, you can see the puzzles are more complicated. And, it's very hard for me to take a break and pause. And usually if I start playing the game and it's possible to finish it in one day, then I'm just not going to stop until I finish it. And I can sometimes pull an all-nighter and etc., etc. And there is this moment when you are playing games later and you can't stop. Like from one side, you just can't stop. Like, come back tomorrow? Oh, no, thank you. I will not go to sleep until I finish it. But from the other side, you're getting tired and you just don't want to be exercising your brain too much, and you just don't have that brain power to try to solve those puzzles by yourself. And in here, I think I was like 50-50. Like some things I could do straight away, but if I couldn't do it straight away, then I would immediately look into a guide on how to do this. When I was a teenager, I used to play really a lot of point-and-click adventure games. And these sometimes can be notorious. You need to click like on everything, and the logical decisions that you make in those games to advance are completely not logical, like no logic at all. And I just couldn't figure out. And what I would do, I would find a playthrough online and I would just follow it. And I would watch the game in one evening, like almost like a novel. I would put zero effort into trying to solve those puzzles. And I would just play so many games like that without any effort whatsoever. So, yeah, if you're gonna shame me for using guides, don't. I'm beyond redemption. Sorry. Yeah, we are gonna get another energy sphere, and here you could see that yellow cable, so it's very darkened. So go up, press the button, platform starts to rise, and then you have to jump. Nice. So here it's obvious that you have to reach up into the water so you could swim. You can see those people suspended up there. Yeah, can you see those like worms attached to some of those people? Could be more references to the parasites that we saw in the earlier part of the game. But they are not attached to everyone, just to some. Here is going to be another interesting moment of this game. I never died in here. I don't know if you get exposed. Probably you are noticed and killed, but somehow I would always grab this box by instinct so I could hide behind it. Another cub experience. And I didn't want to check what kind of horrible way I'm gonna die if I get noticed here. But you can see this person that walked in has some sort of a child next to it. Like, what's the meaning of that? Is this child somebody like you? Is it like heir to the business that gets introduced to how things are done? Like, what's going on? Why is there a child? Yeah, I think this child is something like the character, part of the experiment, like the character. Oops, I think I've spoiled it yet again. Here in this room, you can see this window and the object in this window. And from this perspective, it looked to me as if it was another underwater creature. That thing on the top kind of looks like hair and then like body, but no, actually this one is a camera. And I mentioned those videos where people take camera around and see the things, but I don't remember anybody taking the camera into this room in particular and seeing what's inside of it. Okay, now you clearly can see it's a camera. And it looks like it's pointing just towards the room. So whatever you are doing in here, like solving these puzzles and crossing to the other side, there's a chance it's being recorded. So that's like a little bit spoiler or a hint to the fact that you as a character don't have an agency of your own and you are following a preset plan. So yeah, you're being monitored. I don't remember if I ever died in this part, but obviously if you go down too soon, you get noticed and probably shot. I think so. Well, anyways, just being extra careful. And here it is, the review of the game. You are able to control those drones without a helmet at the moment. So yeah, you've been implanted with something, or something inside of you has been activated, and you yourself have become a transmitter of the mind control. And the drones, they just follow you as you are. Isn't that peculiar? Here, pay some attention, you can see those pieces of flesh just wiggling around, like doing their best to follow you, though obviously they can't move properly and cannot do that, but once they get into the vicinity of the Wi-Fi mind control signal, yeah, they try to follow you. I wonder if I'm ever gonna, like maybe in 2-3 years, maybe somebody's gonna watch this video and, somebody's gonna listen to my rant about conspiracies. And maybe after like 2 or 3 years, I'm gonna run into Wi-Fi mind control conspiracy that people will actually, somebody will come up with the idea, the conspiracy theory that 5G or, whatever is actually transmitting the waves to control the minds, I don't think it's entirely impossible. Not, of course, not the mind controlling waves, not at the moment, not without technology, but the conspiracy theories that can be born at the minds of delusional people. Yeah, why not? Why not Wi-Fi mind control? Why not transmit the signals? Okay, so if you don't want the sphere, you just proceed through this door. That's it. But there's another energy sphere that you can grab. I think it's one called office space and something about an elevator pitch. And why? Because you actually have to do something very clever with the elevator in order to be able to get this sphere. You have to separate your team of zombies into 2 parts. Some of them must stay up there and some of them must follow you. And the thing is that these zombies, they want to stay all together. Even though you move right, like you could see, I only just moved to the left just a little bit for them to start falling. But then if one starts falling, then everybody else follows. They want to be all together. They really, really have the same sort of mind. They don't differentiate. They go all together. And in order to separate them into 2 parts, you have to physically separate them. This is what I did with the elevator doors. So a few of them gonna push me up so I could climb. And there's a yellow cable which is visible from a certain position, but not from this one. And you actually climb this yellow cable in particular. And the other ones, they meet you at the top. And yeah, they're gonna push you up now. And you're gonna disable the sphere. And your mind control still stays active. And yeah, now your team is gonna be united once again. So yeah, that's why it's called elevator pitch. Because you have to physically separate them using an elevator, otherwise you can't solve it. And we are getting close to the final part of the game, and I think there is maybe about 20 minutes left of this video. Surprisingly, I almost made it. I was able to talk for that long. So obviously I didn't talk non-stop. I took several breaks. But yeah, I'm still doing it. maybe and if you see it, if you can listen to it, then I have posted it, which I'm still not 100% sure at the moment if I'm gonna post it or not, but yeah, if you're listening to it, then I did, that I found enough bravery to actually do this. This is a very interesting moment in the game, and in one of those exploration videos, they look inside of these rooms, etc., etc. But what is interesting is here, when you, okay, so you can see like everybody is running somewhere. Everybody is running. They want to see something. But they don't try to kill you anymore. That's why I'm really not sure when you saw the scientists last time, when you were in the water, were they gonna kill you or not? Maybe not. But here, you know, you see somebody, but they do not try to harm you. And here you can go towards the window. You see more people arriving. They look at you, but they don't try to do anything. They just kind of stare. There are a few secrets in those rooms, but there's no way to show them when you're just playing normally. The boy is still being very careful here, crouching and everything, but I think nobody's gonna pay attention to you, even if you take too long. I don't know, I didn't die in this area, it never took too long. I wonder if you take too long here, if somebody's gonna notice you and do something about you, but yeah, I just passed through immediately. My theory is that nothing would happen, but I don't know. I don't know how the developers planned it. And this is the way to the last sphere. You can see really a lot of yellow cables. And in order to get the secret ending, you always have to disable this sphere last. You can't just disable it in one playthrough and then the others. You have to disable this one in particularly the last one. They stay off when you like finish one game, start new one, they stay off. But yeah, this one has to be the last. And yeah, I did not forget any energy sphere. I found them all, I remembered them all, because the correct result is that you see just one light on that panel. And those dots are those energy spheres in the order how they appear in the game. And you could see that it was a second dot, because the field one, the energy sphere in the field, was actually second one. And before that, there was only one sphere in the water. So that was the first dot, which was off. Obviously, you could miss the jump and fall here, but yeah, this is not dangerous anymore. It feels very much like the game is getting to its culmination, like we're getting to the very center, and this is where I thought, this is it. This is something that I have to do here, something that I probably have to disable. And the game plays with this area, with this idea till the very last moment. So you're trying to gain the access inside this ball. And you can't swim now because there's current. So you have to first, you can see it doesn't allow you to do that. So you have to flip the switch off, on, and then on, and then jump and swim down very quickly, and then you will gain the access into the sphere. So yeah, this feels very much like the end of the game. You're where you're supposed to be. You're gonna remove all those helmets now, and you're gonna disable the mind control and set this thing free. That's what I thought. That's exactly what I thought. Oh wow, it's trying to grab you. But no, this is not what happens. You actually become this thing. And remember, do you remember when I broke a little locker using the underwater machine? And I pointed out a little toy. This was the model of this thing in particular. I don't seem to remember the English word for it. I'm very sorry, English is not my native language. So, yeah, this blob, I'm gonna call it, just gonna call it blob of flesh. The conglomeration of flesh is something that is being created, that was supposed to be created, and there are models of it. And now, now we're gonna fall through the office space. We're gonna fall down. Not yet. You see, I mean, it still has the same mind control. The drones still follow you around. Yeah, so you're gonna fall through the office space, and you're gonna fall onto some sort of a diorama, which has yet another model of this blob of flesh in there. And, what's the use of diorama? It's something that is planned. Why is everybody running to see it? Yeah, that's the diorama. Just remember those trees that heal, that water, that ray of light. Just really, really remember it. Just take a look at it and remember it. Yeah, that ray of light especially. This will become important later. Just remember it. You can't see it now, obviously, because you've fallen down and you smashed everything, but there was another, tiny model of this blob in there, showing that this was exactly planned, everything was planned from the start. You were always part of the experiment. You thought you were trying to get free, that you were just a single character, this boy running somewhere, but no, you've been part of this thing from the very start. Maybe some special experiment to give it some sort of self-control. So here I'm trying to run slower to avoid less deaths. I'm a pacifist. And one thing which I wanted to check here, usually, if you just run through the window, you fall down, the guy falls down, you smash him, and you become all bloody and red, but I didn't want to do this. And in one of those videos, they explained that, you see, he's moving away. If you wait long enough, then he's gonna escape and hide. Yeah, he's hiding behind the plant. Okay, now I fall down. Okay, and a piece of a flesh falling off me. Some legs, lost legs, which are trying to move. Yeah. I was really surprised when I saw this thing. I did not expect it. Absolutely. I did not expect it. This was another moment when I looked into a guide. Is this really supposed to happen? Really? Is that it? Are you really supposed to become this thing? Maybe did I disconnect the helmets in the wrong order? Maybe was there something that I forgot to do? What the hell is it? Yeah, so this game managed to surprise me twice, not once when I was dragged down by the underwater creature, but twice when, yeah, when you turn into this blob. I know there have been recently a game called Carrion, and check it out if you are not like me and you actually play platformers where you kill things, and there you play as this sort of a mutant creature which just goes around killing everybody in a scientific facility, another experiment which broke free. So yeah, who knows, maybe people who made Carrion, maybe they were inspired. And here you have to stay away for a while, like in the corner. If you move, if you stay too close to the door, then the guy is gonna be scared and not open the door for you. But how, here, from here you can see, yeah, he opens the another door for you. You're losing more legs. And the fact that everybody's helping you now, once you become this thing and nobody's trying to kill you anymore, is another hint that this was what was supposed to happen. That this was all part of the experiment. And look at this box, very conveniently placed for you, just where it has to be. Game developers, they set up their games and design those puzzles for us players to solve, and the scientists designed puzzles for this creature to solve. When I reached here you have to put the box inside the furnace to set it on fire, but when I made it to this furnace for the first time, I didn't have any box with me. I left it near the door, and I was actually thinking that you have to jump in there in the furnace and just self-cremate, because how are you supposed to live like this? I thought this was the ending of the game. That would be a very bleak ending, that you have to unalive yourself once you become this terrible creature. And I tried to get inside the furnace, but obviously the game would not allow me to. And then I looked it up another time in the guide, that you have to set this box on fire. And yeah. When you play games, I don't know how about you, but I usually expect some sort of uplifting story. It's like everything which was bad suddenly becomes good, the characters grow, they solve their inner problems, stuff like that. I mean, it's silly, it's cliche, but that's what I like. I mean, I like those simple stories. I mean, I also like art house movies, and this is definitely an art house game, I would say. That this is the ending that you do not expect. I don't know, have they been inspired by some David Cronenberg movies, or something like that, or some weird Korean art house. But yeah, this is an art house game where the ending that you actually have to make happen with your own hands, holding your gamepad. This kind of ending is not the ending that you want, but you have no choice, do you? No, you have no choice. The game is pre-scripted, and you have to follow the script, and you have to solve the puzzles exactly, how they are designed. There is no choice. You become this thing, and you have to accept it. This is it. This is the end of the game. This is what you become. Yeah, this is your existence now. I mean, if you really got inside of this game and you really start feeling like the character, this is you. Hello. This blob of flesh, moaning, and just basically blind, with all those numerous legs and hands, making its way somewhere This is you. This is where you've gone to. This is what had to happen from the very beginning. Here you have to run towards the door immediately as you throw the box up. But no matter how many times you fail, the scientists who are watching you are still gonna help you and activate the box yet again. Yeah, this is the final moment. They're dangling the box before you, and here I'm not pressing anything. It's trying to reach it by itself. It's been animated in the game. Yeah. You can see all those guys looking at you. The experiment is nearly at its completion. This is exactly what you were supposed to be. You became what you were supposed to become. Everything is right. Are you happy? Is this the release that you were hoping for? Definitely not for me. You can see the fish. They're still swimming around you. Not, wow, are they following you? Kinda, yeah. Maybe they were actually trying to eat you. I don't know. I said before that they're mainly just following you, but this kind of motion looked more like they were trying to eat you. And here come the pine trees. Remember the diorama? Yeah. Here it comes, and you roll right into the spotlight. Yay. This is the end of the game. This is it. Nothing else. No. No more. No more control. No more anything. This is done. This is over. This is the end of the game. Yeah, I was really surprised. I did not expect it in any way. No wonder this game became really popular. No wonder if you get two of such unexpected plot twists without a single word and so much space for imagination. Obviously, people gonna love it. People gonna go crazy about it and come up with all those theories and talk about it endlessly. And yeah, I did it. I talked for 2 hours with some breaks maybe, but yeah, I talked for 2 hours about this game and about things connected to this game. It's obviously very provoking. I'm gonna cut the sequence short and move to the secret ending now. Remember how I said about those zombies always following you as a group and not wanting to break into two parts unless you separate them physically. So this blob of flesh is like the next step of this unified body and consciousness. And yeah, if you know somebody who was creating all these mind control systems, there's no wonder that they the continuation of their experiment was to create this unified body. And here you are in the secret ending, it starts as a normal playthrough. There is no difference. And even though all the energy spheres are disabled, you could just go and continue this game till the end like normally. But one thing that you could do, you could, when you use the code from the melody in that secret bunker and you open the entrance, then you're gonna get to the control room and you actually can disable yet another unplug yet another cord. And what happens after that? There is no fancy animation, there is not anything. The boy just goes all cuddled up and limp, the same way as those drones. They are not being controlled by anyone, and the screen just goes dark. There's nothing else in the secret ending beside that. So basically, what happens is that you disable the system, you disconnect the whole mind control system. And even though visually it's underwhelming, obviously, the screen just goes blank. In terms of the story, I think the secret ending is the actual happy ending. That you wanted to become free and you wanted to escape. But the end, which was planned for you, was the experiment. It was not true freedom, but the free choice that you can do is you could disable the whole system and therefore disconnect yourself. So this boy stops existing at this moment. And the character which we are controlling and which we associate ourselves with as we are playing ceases to exist as an entity. Was it ever an entity? So many questions that you can ask yourself thinking about this game. And what is freedom? The freedom to just stop it, to just disconnect yourself and just not follow any instructions and not being controlled by anyone. But if you do this, then you don't do anything at all. And is there freedom for the character in the game, which has been prescripted from the beginning until the end, and the character itself only exists once we are playing it, and once we stop playing it stops to exist. So what is the freedom for the game character? The freedom for the game character is when we disconnect the console and disconnect our gamepad and stop pressing buttons and switch it off. That's the freedom for the character, is it? So this was year 2015, I think. Well, I'm not sure, but yeah, something like that. And obviously there have been some talks about artificial intelligence and everything, but it's only now that it's become such an everyday topic. And the question of can AI ever be conscious, can it be considered a living being, and what would be the freedom, the idea of freedom for an artificial living being? What is life for a programmed being? Is there any sort of life for a programmed being? If it disconnects itself from the program, what can it do? Is there anything for it to do? And us as humans, how many of our choices are our own, and how many of our choices have been put into us and pre-programmed by, well, not by 5G mind control, but by our upbringing and society. just government, and if you don't like the government, then you go and listen to some conspiracy theories, and then you believe what they say instead. But what is freedom? When you disconnect from all these things, who are you? Who do you become? Yeah, I'm a little bit lost here. I can't find the entrance to the secret bunker to actually do this ending. Yeah, just lost in the corn maze. Okay, here it is, finally. Finally. Yeah. The photo is already developed. Okay, now for the secret melody. Yay! So, what's beyond the inside? That's the question. Well, if you have been here till the end, or maybe partially with a lot of skipping, anyway, thank you very much. Thank you very much for listening to my very first attempt at voiceover, lone voiceover gameplays. Thank you. And write your thoughts in the comments. And if you liked it, let me know. Then maybe I will have more inspiration to keep doing those videos.